On a rainy night in a small town, siblings Max and Lily sat huddled in their room. Thunder rolled through the dark sky, lightning flashing outside their window. They loved stormy nights, but something strange was happening tonight, something that sent a chill down their spines. Max had found an old radio in the attic a few days ago. It was heavy, dusty, and looked like it hadn't been used in years. But tonight, he decided to turn it on and see if it still worked. As he tuned the dial, strange sounds filled the room, crackles, hisses, and the eerie hum of static. "Do you hear that?" Max whispered, eyes wide. Lily nodded, her face pale. "It's just static, but why does it sound so creepy?" The static grew louder, almost like someone was whispering. The room seemed to get colder, and both kids shivered. But instead of turning it off, Max kept listening. Something about that static felt alive. Suddenly, through the crackling noise, they heard a faint voice. "Help me." Max and Lily froze, glancing at each other, unsure if they really heard it. "Please, I need help." The voice sounded weak and scared, like it was coming from far away. Lily gulped. "Did you hear that, Max? Someone's asking for help." "Who would be talking through an old radio?" Max asked, his heart pounding. But deep down, he knew this wasn't a prank. It felt real. Max carefully turned the dial, trying to make the voice clearer. The static faded a little, and the voice came through again. "My name is Annie. I'm lost. I can't find my way out." "Annie?" Lily whispered, her eyes wide. "Who's Annie?" "I don't know, but we need to help her," Max said. He couldn't explain it, but he felt like Annie was really there, calling out to them through the radio. "Annie," Max said into the radio, not even sure she could hear him. "Where are you?" The radio crackled, then her voice came back, softer but clear. "In the woods. It's dark. Please don't leave me here." Max and Lily looked at each other, and without another word, they both grabbed their flashlights and raincoats. It didn't matter that it was raining or that it was almost midnight. They had to help Annie. They slipped outside and ran down the path toward the edge of town where the woods began. The rain poured down, and their flashlights struggled to cut through the darkness. But something kept pulling them forward, a feeling that they were getting closer to Annie. As they stepped deeper into the forest, everything grew quiet. No more rain sounds, no birds, not even the wind. Just silence. Suddenly, their radio, which Max had stuffed into his backpack, crackled again. "Turn left," whispered Annie's voice. Max and Lily looked at each other and turned left, following her instructions. Every few minutes, Annie's faint voice would guide them through the woods until finally they came to an old, abandoned cabin. The cabin looked like it hadn't been touched in years. Its windows were broken, and the wooden door creaked as Max pushed it open. Inside, the air was stale, and shadows seemed to dance on the walls. "Annie?" Lily called, her voice echoing in the dark. Silence. They took a few cautious steps inside, their flashlights casting long shadows. Just when they were about to leave, the radio crackled again. "I'm here," whispered Annie's voice, softer than ever. Max pointed his flashlight at the far corner of the room. There, half hidden in the shadows, they saw an old, dusty mirror. It was huge, with a golden frame, and in the middle of the mirror was a faint, ghostly face, a young girl with sad, frightened eyes. "That's her," Lily gasped. "That's Annie." Annie's ghostly face seemed to turn toward them, her expression full of sadness. "I'm trapped," she whispered, her voice barely audible. "Please. I need your help to leave." Max and Lily felt a chill run down their spines. They didn't know how to help her, but they knew they couldn't leave her behind. "Annie, how did you get trapped here?" Max asked, his voice shaky. Annie's face faded for a moment, then I came across this cabin, but I could never leave. I've been trapped here ever since." Max and Lily's hearts ached for her. They looked at each other, and Max had an idea. "Maybe if we take the mirror outside, you can finally be free." With a nod from Lily, they carefully lifted the mirror and carried it out of the cabin. It was heavy, and the rain made it even harder to hold, but they were determined. Slowly, they made their way back through the woods, following the path they'd come. As they reached the edge of the forest, the first light of dawn began to break through the clouds. They set the mirror down, and something incredible happened. Annie's face smiled for the first time. She looked at Max and Lily, her eyes full of gratitude. "Thank you," she whispered. Her image began to fade, and a soft light glowed from the mirror, filling the air with warmth. Then, in an instant, Annie was gone, and the mirror reflected only the forest around them. Max and Lily stood in awe, feeling a strange mix of sadness and relief. Annie had finally found peace. That night, Max and Lily sat in their room, the radio still on the floor beside them. They wondered if they'd hear Annie's voice again, but the static was gone, and the radio was silent. Just as they were about to turn it off, a soft, familiar voice crackled through. "Thank you," Annie whispered one last time, her voice filled with happiness. Then, the static faded, and the radio went silent forever. Max and Lily knew that Annie was finally free, her spirit at peace. They smiled at each other, grateful for the adventure they'd shared and the friend they'd helped along the way. If you enjoyed this mysterious story and want to hear more thrilling tales of ghostly encounters, don't forget to hit subscribe. We have plenty more haunting adventures waiting for you.